Do you have any old, outdated tech lying around that's just begging to be repurposed? This is an Asus Chromebox that I got for $8. Well, actually I got a handful of them for $8 a piece. I'm gonna show you guys how I turned it into a productivity and retro gaming beast. Let's get into it. So the first step of this process, you guessed it, you're gonna need a Chromebox. These came in all kinds of different iterations and versions and can be had for anywhere between $50 to $100 depending on what version you get. In order to get this machine to run like a normal computer, we're gonna have to flash the firmware and remove the shitty Chrome OS operating system that comes standard on all of these. And once we flash the firmware, we can do anything we want with it. To flash the firmware, I used Mr. Chromebox's UEFI BIOS flash process. I'm not gonna do a deep dive on that process just because it's pretty easy to fuck up. If you don't do one step correctly, you can brick your device and pretty much render it a paperweight. And you're gonna wanna follow the directions on his website, which I will link. Once that process is finished, Chrome OS will be completely removed from the device and you'll have access to the UEFI BIOS, which is, I guess, made by Mr. Chromebox. It makes this device so much easier to work with. You can do so much more with it. You're gonna wanna do that process before upgrading the storage or RAM or anything like that. Once you finish that process, we can crack it open. So this one is unmodified. There's gonna be 4 rubber feet right here. You're gonna peel those off and then that'll expose the screws underneath those feet. You're gonna take those 4 screws out. Once you do that, you're inside the box. So I'm inside the Chromebox and I just wanna show you guys some specifics here. You get 2 sticks of, I believe, SODIMM laptop RAM. This one came configured with 8 gigabytes total. In this slot here, this is your Wi-Fi card, your Wi-Fi/Bluetooth card. I'm gonna be getting rid of that. This is your SSD underneath it. I ended up getting rid of that as well. Here in the corner is a write protect screw. You need to remove that before you start. That's literally the first step of the process. You don't remove that, you're gonna be in trouble. So here's my finished Chromebox here. What I did was I replaced the RAM with 2 8 gigabyte sticks from Crucial. As you can see, the write protect screw has been removed. I broke off a little battery right here, which I thought was a CMOS battery. It wasn't. It turns out that battery, I don't know what it does, but it doesn't affect anything so far. Replaced the main SSD with a 500 gigabyte SSD flashed with Windows 10, and then I replaced the Wi-Fi/Bluetooth card with another SSD. In order to do that, I had to purchase an adapter that adapts the Wi-Fi slot to a NMVE SSD or an M2 SSD. And seeing as there's no longer a Wi-Fi/Bluetooth card, I purchased this adapter from Panda. Plugs into the USB port. I think it's faster than what I had previously. And then on this USB next to the Wi-Fi card here is Batocera flash with a bunch of ROMs and whatnot. And this allows me to, this whole setup allows me to, when I turn on the computer, it goes straight to the BIOS or the UEFI. And I can choose whether I want to boot into Windows 10, Linux, or Batocera to do some retro gaming. So I'm gonna show you guys how that goes. I'm gonna turn the Chromebox on and show you guys how I boot into each operating system. But before I do that, I'm going to pair it with the Keychron C3 Pro and the EVGA X17 gaming mouse. I don't know anything about this mouse and it's not a product placement by any means, but we're gonna try it out. So in order to get into the BIOS, we're gonna need to turn on the Chromebox and hit escape. Hitting escape will bring you to the boot menu. Using your keyboard, you're gonna scroll down. It's gonna list all your drives as well as all the operating systems that you have. So I guess first we'll start with the fun stuff. We'll boot into Batocera. Here in Batocera, you see we have access to all our emulators, all our ROMs, whatnot. I've only installed a couple so far, which is PS1 and PS2, and I guess these ones that came with it. But I'm sure this machine can handle up to Xbox 360, maybe even PS4. The good thing about Batocera is there's a lot of support for literally any controller you can find, even Amazon aftermarket controllers. I'm using a Nintendo Switch Pro controller, which was pretty easy to do just after setting up all the keys and whatnot. So let's play some games. So let's say I don't want to play video games anymore. I want to do some work in Windows. I'm going to follow the same process from earlier to get to the boot menu. I'm going to scroll down using the directional pad on the keyboard, and I'm either going to choose Windows Boot Manager or the drive that I installed Windows on. In this case, I'll just hit Boot Manager, and there. Now I'm in Windows 10. Can sign in. As you can see here, internet and everything else works. I just have yet to get some speakers. I've been using this thing through my headphones. Let's say I'm done in Windows. I want to do some work in Linux. I'm going to go back to the BIOS using that same process, and we're going to boot into Linux. So the process to get one of these Chromeboxes to run like a regular computer is a bit in depth, but fairly simple. If you guys have any questions about the process, leave comments and I'll try to respond to all of them. If you like the video, like, comment, subscribe, and buy something from my website because it supports me and helps me make more videos. That said, I'm out.